Oh, this is not a spring chicken. Yes, the news today. Well, it doesn't always have to be having to do with being in the bubble of DC, but sometimes just to clear your head, you need to get out and see things just a little bit clearer from a different perspective. So for now, we're going to bring Oldecam on with comments on the headlines of today. And I wish we were out at the ocean today, and it's absolutely gorgeous.
You know, what you're seeing, you're not seeing because it's raining.
You're seeing, but you're not seeing. But here we have Oldecam on with comments on the headlines of today. And there is no truth that Obama will be the first person to ever get 2 Nobel Peace Prizes.
You know why?
Where did that come from?
You know why?
Why?
He said if they voted him a second prize, he would have to turn it down. He said that.
What?
If he was voted a second prize, he would have to turn this one down.
Well, he got the first one for doing nothing.
I know, but he's actually expecting to get a second one.
Does he know something we don't know?
As people heard, I was rudely interrupted by a cell phone that had been turned off.
Ooh, yeah. I know. And One Nation event trashes the National Mall and the Vietnam Memorial.
Yeah,
what?
That's what the Democrats have nothing but total and absolutely contempt for anything. I mean, they said they condemned Glenn Beck's rally, and then your cell phone goes off. And then there was no trash to be found anywhere when they got done because they picked it up. But the Democrats and the unions trashed the entire place, everything. I mean, there was so much trash and garbage at the Vietnam Memorial, it was unbelievable.
Oh, really?
It was piled deep.
Oh.
So, I mean, they were peeing on the stuff.
What?
Yeah, this is the contempt that the Democrats have for this nation.
That's disgusting.
Well, remember, there were 400 anti-American organizations at that thing, so...
Democrats continue to show how out of touch with people they are by demanding the rehiring of Rick Sanchez. Not like he said the N-word.
Well, you know, they actually would like Stewart to apologize. They would like Stewart to apologize for causing the problem, which isn't going to help him because they're likely to lose Jon Stewart because he's somewhat getting pissed off at he's likely to jump to the right. The more angry he gets at the left, the more they're pushing him to the right. Remember, Dennis Miller was a left-wing person until he lost a family member at 9/11.
Well, and he was very left before, not just a little left.
This guy basically was, Barack Obama left before 9/11.
And a record number of children die in hot cars in 2010.
I know. People go off and they forget the kids can really get hot. I mean, we see people that basically...
Oh, it's literally from being in the cars that were hot? I was thinking it was hot like sports cars.
No, they're leaving them in automobiles with no air coming through. I mean, we saw people that are treating their dogs better than they are kids. You know, with great big things that the dogs can basically have plenty of air coming in but can't get out, but not kids. They just put them in the back seat of the car and go in.
And Obama kills foreclosures right before the election.
Yeah, isn't that a coincidence that all of the companies had okay, what it is Obama is nitpicking the foreclosures in order to stop them. They said that it will likely stop all foreclosures for at least a half a year. And now they're going to have Obama Justice Department is going to have a criminal investigation into the foreclosures that were done beforehand. The problem is they weren't making any payments on the houses, which is why they're in foreclosure. Does it make any difference who was doing the foreclosure if you hadn't paid payments in a half a year?
If you weren't making payments, I mean...
But Obama's giving the people homes free of charge for maybe as long as a year and a half, where the poor guy across the street or next door, he's working his butt off to make his payments, but those people that support Obama no longer have to make payments on their homes because his mortgage program didn't work, so he figured out another way. Since he is in control of the banks that he's nitpicking the loans over.
Well, did you notice which banks were doing it?
His banks.
Yeah.
His banks.
And 11 countries seek voice in Arizona immigration appeal.
They have nothing.
11 countries?
Yeah, all the Latin countries are pissed off because we're forbidding their people to illegally come into our country, while if you go to their country, they throw you in a jail cell for 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, come on. What's
the deal with that? No, but they're basically, and the Justice Department is going to allow them to be part of the thing. And here's the problem, is that Helena Kagan was a party to that at the White House, which means she has to excuse herself from the thing. And since the other lady, the wise Latino, is an immigrant to this country, she has to excuse herself. So already the Republicans have won it if it gets to the Supreme Court.
Do you think they would really excuse themselves?
She has to excuse herself. She's biased.
Well, they're supposed to.
It's just like if you're doing a thing, if you're a Jewish person and you're voting on whether Jews are being discriminated against yourself, and you're the only Jewish member of the Supreme Court, you generally excuse yourself.
Yeah.
If you're the only Latino member on the Supreme Court and they're having a thing about whether this is racism or not, you're not going to get an unbiased opinion from a woman that has already said that any woman is wiser than the men. So.
Man, that's true, especially after those comments.
That's right.
And Obama will call attention to a system of low-budget schools he expects will train future workers and help make the U.S. first in the world in the proportion of students earning college degrees.
We already are, and it doesn't make any difference. They said that this morning, the Democrats, he seems to miss the idea there is no jobs. The college students that are being turned out now don't have any jobs. And it's all about, we're going to be this, we're going to do that, but there's nothing. Well, if we create more college graduates, there'll be more work for them at a higher wage.
Well, there's not enough jobs for people.
They can't get a job at minimum wage, folks.
No. Economy pitch, mainly a blame game for both parties.
Republicans are responsible for it. This is the Obama economy. Virtually every economist in the world said if you did nothing, it couldn't have got any worse. Mm-hmm. Except you'd be $3 trillion up in the bag.
It's our daily, it's all over for the Republicans, as all the polls show a disheartened Democratic Party.
Well, yeah. They said if there's a low turnout for the voting, the Republicans for the first time win. If there's a high turnout, the Republicans win by twice as much as they win if there's a low turnout. But don't worry. The President of the United States has polls from Newsweek magazine, which is a division of NBC and NBC, who basically they're the all Obama networks and magazines that say the Obama magic has worked. The public are flocking to his message of change. Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course, they're also I heard a liberal Democrat this morning say, God, if they'd only tell you what these people are on, because to not see that the Titanic has hit the iceberg.
I know.
I mean, these guys don't even know they've hit the iceberg.
And Haiti is still waiting for the pledged U.S. aid.
Obama's pledge isn't worth the paper it's written on, folks.
I know.
And these are black people he's screwing.
Oh, that's true, huh?
That's right.
Well, guess what he'd do for the white people?
Yeah.
Obama promotes clean energy jobs to save the economy, and GOP hits Democratic spending.
Yeah, because Obama is all about spending money. He creates no jobs. There have not been as many private sector jobs created in the entire 18 months since he started this nonsense as is needed in 1 month to change it. But don't worry. Wall Street went up today on the news that SEIU and the Culinary Workers Organization, which are basically main backers of Obama, announced that they had far exceeded expectations in hiring service employees.
They did?
Well, yeah, of course, nobody can figure out where they're at. But that doesn't make any difference because when the SEIU and culinary workers can't come forth at the White House and say that they're far exceeding everything and the economy has turned around, who's going to doubt it?
Well, that's enough reason to believe them.
Of course, everybody in the press, but nobody on Wall Street. I mean, they said Wall Street is going up because Wall Street is racist.
What?
Well, they said they
what
know.
Has that to
they
do
said
with
that
anything?
Wall Street is going up. It's a getting rid of Obama bounce they're getting at the moment.
Oh.
But they're not going to get rid of him because the guy's doubling down, folks.
And there is no proof that marijuana causes any accidents.
Well, I mean, we did a whole thing on marijuana, just one chapter. We don't have one single thing, one comment to the fact that there's any problem with marijuana. That for 50,000 years, man has cultivated marijuana, and it shows no results. We haven't been cultivating anything for 50,000 years, which means they're probably on the marijuana they're talking about.
And Democrats don't think it's wrong to do commercials showing children being killed if they don't join the Save the Climate movement.
Echo snuff films are now dubbing them. And
I know, and we're not talking about showing children being killed. It's talking about having their heads blown up.
Blowing them up, killing them in gruesome manners.
That was pretty...
And they absolutely... This is the guy that wrote Notting... This guy that writes these stupid British, romance things is killing kids in order to make a point. They made the point, and then they don't
It's not funny.
It's not funny. A lot of liberals on the left don't think it's funny, but unfortunately, the echo people think it's time that somebody showed the consequences. Basically, that's a threat, folks.
But I was going to say, there's a threat on that one because they're showing commercials of them blowing up kids if you don't agree with them?
Well, they have pulled it now. They've tried to pull it, but it got out on YouTube, and basically there's so many copies of this, and it gets worse. What they have shown is the tame parts.
Oh, that's true. I've heard that. I don't even know what the other parts are.
I know. That's coming up next, folks.
Oh, that's pretty scary because that was pretty gruesome.
Yeah.
Bernanke wants Democrats of high budget deficits, and it goes in one ear and out the other. Warns the Democrats.
Yeah, they're not listening. Yesterday he told them, today he told them, these clowns are planning to come back after the election and spend $1.5 trillion. They're going to spend more money because the problem isn't that we spent too much. The problem is we didn't spend enough. That's why there aren't any private sector jobs. They created 100,000 government jobs.
And Yahoo's losing 3 top executives and raising more worries.
Yahoo's getting ready to go under because they can't. Nobody can figure out how to make money on the internet because the ad sales are massively down.
Well, all of it's down.
Yep.
It's not. And it's not just the internet. Uncle Sam's shameful treatment of today's American Indians.
Oh, anybody want to? Oh, I happen to be one of them. I absolutely know there's no different in the treatment today than there was a treatment for my mother when she was young, my grandmother when she was young, my great-grandmother when she was... The treatment's the same, folks.
Actually, I think, weren't they worse before?
No, we've been... you have to go to an Indian reservation, folks. I've been to them.
Oh.
And basically, they're the worst god-awful places on the face of this planet. The unemployment rate is the highest in the nation with the Indian population. The poverty rate is the highest in the nation. They live in the worst physical conditions. Our government has basically refused to live up to any agreement it ever made.
And a Monty Bubbleism from the Mark Twain of the Animal Kingdom.
I like this one. If the best you can do at an event you set up is simply a fraction of those that attended the event you were protesting, you're in big trouble.